is Jo and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be looking at repotting some of my succulents. I have been keeping my succulents in terracotta pots since I started really, which is 4 years ago. I found it worked really well for the majority of the time. I'm just wondering now if maybe the pots are a little bit too porous and the plants are not holding enough water, which is making them thirstier quicker, which means I have to water them more, which can lead to rotting. So it's kind of a trial and error really to see how they get on. So what I thought I'd cover in today's video is how to repot a succulent. So I've got what soil I use, I've got some new tools which I've bought recently to try out, and then just to show you some of my favourite succulents really. I've got 10 here, but I have quite a few favourites. I don't know if I could even narrow it down to 10 because I've got so many favourites, but I've got quite a good range of different ones to show you today. So yeah, we'll repot some succulents and I will show you my new pots, and we'll have a look at the plants just to make sure they're nice and healthy. We'll check the roots, get rid of any old soil, because what succulents do need is a lot of air around the roots in the soil. So when the soil is quite old, it becomes compact and the plant doesn't have any space to breathe basically. So it's quite good to repot your succulents, and some of these are new, so actually they have been repotted this year. But looking at them, some of them probably are coming up to maybe a year or so in this pot, so it is time for some of them to be changed, but it just gives me a chance to kind of do a health check on them as well. So what we'll start with is repotting one of them and just having a look really at the health of the plant. So what I've done today is chosen 10 different ones. So we've got a crispate beauty, this is what this is called. This is a mutated succulent. This one's really pretty. It's kind of got a lot of farina on it, and farina is the powder that covers the leaves, which acts as a kind of a protection from the sun, like a sun cream really. And if you touch it, it does come off onto your hands, so you have to be quite careful handling some of these plants, because you can then cause fingerprints, and I like my plants to look as pretty as possible, so I try not to really touch them as much as I can. To check if they need to be watered, I always squeeze my leaves sideways like this, and when they are squidgy like that one, they're quite thirsty, because succulents actually retain the water in the leaves, and that's how you know when it actually needs a little bit more water, because leaves need to be plumped up. So yeah, that's the first one we're going to do today, which is a crispate beauty. So it's a mutated succulent. I had to come into my kitchen today because even though it's August, it's very rainy, windy, and just not very nice. So I thought it would probably be too loud in the greenhouse to actually hear me. So yeah, we're going to try it in the kitchen today and see how we get on. So yeah, first things first, we want to remove this from the pot and get rid of any old soil. So I have actually bought some new tools and things. So we've got a little scraper, some little, whatever they are, some tweezers, which might be quite good for removing any old leaves. This should be quite good to hold the succulent if we don't want to touch it. A little scoop, bigger scoop, some more tweezers and things. So I'll just knock that one over. So yes, we'll try these tools, see how we get on. They're brand new, like I've never tried them before. I normally use this little scoop, which is probably for sweets. I just find it really handy to obviously use it for these small pots. The big scoop, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. So the soil that I actually use for succulents is kind of a mixture. This is just what I use. It works for me. There's so many different ways and methods that people try. This is a mixture of normal compost, John Innes number 2, which is quite a dry compost. So I think that's quite good because it doesn't retain too much moisture. And then I also add in here some grit, and this little pink things here is actually cat litter, so it's molar clay, and I just find it quite good. It doesn't hold loads of moisture, but it just makes the soil a bit more gritty. So I've used that for quite a few years now, but I think I probably will eventually move away from it and just use grit, but it's worked really well for me. So at the minute I've got loads of it left, so I'll keep trying it. But Yeah, so just a really gritty, well-draining soil mix is what you need for succulents, because they like to obviously take in some moisture, but they can't sit in a pot of really wet soil. That's what can lead to root rot, stem rot, and different things like that. So you just have to be careful with what compost you use when growing succulents, really. So what we'll do is remove this one from the pot. This one's very thirsty, quite a lot, so I'm just thinking it will probably be better to, if I just push that up underneath. So the roots on this one are obviously quite solid in here, so I've just pushed the very bottom to get the succulent out of the pot, so it probably will come out in one, yeah, big section there. So that one probably does need some fresh soil. You can see on here the roots, just get them a bit closer. The roots on here are all nice and fresh and white, doing really well. It's just a little bit too compact, so it's probably not getting as much air as it should. And also when we're doing this, we can remove any dead leaves, so just get rid of those. It's just that the succulent grows from the center, so anything at the bottom is kind of old and not needed, so they're the first ones to go, really. So these are the 10 succulents I've chose today to repot. We've got quite a good range here of different ones, got some lovely colours. This one here is a linguus, which has got kind of caruncles to it on the leaf. So pretty. That one recently actually was a head chop, so I've chopped that one to try and grow some pups from the stem. So that one's recently been re-rooted and it's actually doing really well. It's growing some really strong roots in there. So that's a beautiful, I thought that would look really nice. This one is a variegated silver star. I just thought with these new pots, what I've done is chosen some white ones, and I thought that would really make the colours pop on these. So that's a silver star. This one is a strawberry ice. My label's really fading on there. So that's really beautiful colours. This one, as I've already discussed, is a crispate beauty. So a nice mutated pastel succulent there. This one I've wanted for a long time. It's a soul mint. So it's a Lowy hybrid and I absolutely love it. I love all the different colorations here. And it's obviously got quite a lot of farina because it's from the Lowy family. Yeah, and this one is quite new, so I didn't want to water it too much because I need it to settle in. But it's getting quite thirsty again. And this one is another mutated form actually. This one's called a cristata. This is a star muck, but what it does, sometimes they mutate very differently. It doesn't have a center growth point. And yeah, it's really pretty and it's got some lovely colours. This one is another one which is quite unusual. This is a longissima. Obviously, if I pronounce any of these wrong, this is just how I say them. I could be completely wrong. Everyone says things differently. So, yeah, this is a longissima. This one's got caruncles as well. Really pretty, very green and, yeah, lovely. Really nice, healthy plant. As you can see, we've got some dead leaves here. So, yeah, we'll have a nice tidy up today and just do a little health check on them. This one is a Havisham's Waltz is the name. But again, very nice pastel with some really good pink tips on there. It's beautiful, this one. This one's quite different. It's got quite wide leaves. They're quite spaced apart. It's got really different kind of form to it. Again, it's quite pastel-y with some pink tips. So I love this one as well. We've got another variegated plant here. This is a Beyonce. This one is very thirsty. So this one doesn't have too much farina, so I can touch this one without it all coming off onto my fingers and spoiling the plant. But yeah, this one's, as you can tell, really thirsty. The leaves, if you squeeze them, are completely, there's just nothing in there at all. So the middle's fine, nice and firm. It just needs a good drink. I have actually watered this recently within the last week or so, but it has been quite hot in the greenhouse. I've got two greenhouses and one of them gets a lot of sun, so it can reach 35, a little bit more degrees at the minute. So yeah, they get quite thirsty quickly, but again, I don't want to water them too often because I don't want them to rot. So it's kind of a balancing act sometimes with succulents. But this one is variegated, so it's got all these beautiful colours. So yeah, I thought that also that would look lovely in the white pot as well. So that's the ones we're going to do today, and let's get started. Okay, so we are going to start with this one, which we've already removed once from the pot, so job's already done. And then we're just going to chop away at the soil. This is really compact, so it definitely does need some fresh soil. So yeah, just try and kind of chop away at the soil. It doesn't matter if you take off any of the roots because they probably will be quite old. Some of these are quite nice and white and fresh actually, but it doesn't matter if they do come off when doing this because they'll grow some nice fresh roots. So this is the plant. These are the lovely healthy roots. I have taken quite a few of the old roots off here, and yeah, just it will grow some nice new roots and give it a bit of a spruce up really. So what we'll do is our new pot. Let's try out one of these new scoops, shall we? Let's try this black one. So the mix is quite nice and gritty, so just put a nice load of the mix in here. And then we'll pop the succulent in. I like to try and make sure that the roots are as far down as possible. So I'll just tip some of that out actually. So yeah, place in there and then pop the soil around the plant. Just make sure it stands in the pot nice and securely. So that's our plant all potted up in the new pot. I might just try and add some soil to the top of it. Sorry, not soil, some gravel, just to see what it looks like. There's quite a few mixed opinions on if gravel should be added on top of the succulents, because sometimes it means that the sunlight can't get into the soil and dry it out as much. So I think it looks lovely, and I haven't done it for a couple of years to be honest. But it does look really good with that contrast. So I might just try it and see how I get on. Like I say, this is just trial and error really, just to see how the succulents get on in these. But yeah, I love the look of it. It looks beautiful. So this is with the gravel added on top. I just think it looks so good, and you can really see the colour of the succulent popping. So the next one we're going to do is the strawberry ice. So again, just get rid of the old soil. It's got lots of roots, so it's very healthy. Some old leaves that can be removed as well. It's quite good to do this because you can then see if it's got any new pups coming. So when it creates new pups, this one hasn't, but they'll just grow on the stem, so it can then, you can give them a little bit more room and a little bit more light, and maybe have the soil sitting lower so they can actually start growing nicely. So yeah, it's a really good way of seeing how your succulents are getting on. And it's also good to check for any bugs, because certain bugs such as mealies are really small and white, move quite quickly, so you would spot them. But the only thing is, I used to use perlite in my mixture, and I used to get them confused with mealies because they're quite similar, so I've stopped using that. So you can tell this is probably quite old mix because it's got the perlite in it as well. So again, we'll just do the same. Perfect. So that one's all potted up. I'm not going to add the gravel to all of them because I don't think I have enough. And I need to make a decision what colour. I do really like that one, but would white look better? What do you have for yours? Do you have top gravel? What are your thoughts? What do you think looks nice? This one's soil doesn't seem as old. It's a lot easier to remove. You can see the air has been getting into the roots, and there's all new little shoots coming off. So yeah, there's all these new roots popping off here. So this one's had quite fresh, healthy soil anyway, but it's time to change pots. I was really torn between getting white and black pots, but then I found over the last couple of summers really, anything that I've kept in like a dark pot just gets so hot when the sun's on it, and I have had quite a lot of sunburned plants that have been in darker pots, so I just think, would the white actually help them in the heat to not get quite as hot and not get burnt, and maybe help them survive? So this is my theory and why I've got white pots. So this is the repotted star mark. Beautiful. And I'll just repeat the process for the rest of it. So I'll put you on a time lapse now and I will see you on the other side. So that's them all repotted. I think they look so good in these pots. They're also obviously square pots, so they fit together really nicely. So I'm hoping in the greenhouse that will actually save a little bit of space. I'll let you know how I get on with these. I will probably leave them maybe a week or so, just for the roots to settle because I've interrupted the roots. Here's the first 10. I hope you like them. Let me know your thoughts on the pots. So that's the 10 different succulents repotted. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's given you some kind of tips and a little bit of guidance on what you can do for your collection. Let me know what you think of the pots, what pots you use, if you've got any tips or anything you'd like to share. Obviously, I've been doing it 4 years, so it's early days really, and I'm sure there's still loads to learn. So if you've got any advice or anything you'd like to share, please do so. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos of my succulents, my collection. So if there's any videos you'd like to see, please let me know. And yeah, I hope to see you soon. Have a great day.